in the late 60s and early 70s, you'll see these towns, and they built these replications of these towns, and we're like, this is just too much fun, and there's so much camp here that we have to incorporate this thing in a map. And so, you know, this is our fun map. This map's really just for fun.
The mannequins add sort of a campy, but also at the same time slightly eerie element.
Yeah, they're slightly creepy, and you know, if you're playing, when you're playing without many players, if you're playing like a smaller game, like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, you know, you got guys will stand still next to mannequins and confuse the issue for you. There's a sign inside this map, right in front of John there, where it actually tells you, if you go to the front of that sign and look at it, it'll actually tell you how many players are currently in the nuke town at this time.
Oh, okay.
So try to get some footage of that. This map has a specialized RCXD car path that lets you go from one side of the map to the other in a back alley. This map it's got the double rainbow. This map has got this map also has a really special surprise that we'll get to when the match ends.
I feel compelled to ask about the player bursting into flames when he dies.
Yeah, well, you know, these guys have got some flamethrowers at work here, which is one of the weapon attachments. So
okay.
they're going to get toasted up pretty good. So, so John, if you get toasted, don't skip that kill cam, so we can show everybody in the world what happened there. So you know, the flamethrower used to be a weapon, right? A perk 1 weapon in Call of Duty World at War, and this time we stuck it as an attachment and under the barrel attachment. So John now, in fact, now that he's ranked up and he has his MP5, rather than spending money on something else, it looks like he's customized his gun. So now he's got a reflex on there with probably a red dot, a circle red dot. So you know, he's starting the experience of going, okay, I'm going to customize this weapon for me. You know, what do I want on it, right? And, you know, and he's still only level 5, so he's not waiting around for this stuff too long. He's also got a speed reload perk on. They're playing. Looks like they're playing Demolition.
I'm in awe at this map that you guys have built right here.
Yeah. There's some sprinklers somewhere off to the sides, some garden sprinklers that come up. And then, you know, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give, you know, just for your, I'm going to give you guys one giveaway just for your audience that no one's ever talked about yet. And then I'm going to leave a little bit, there's the flamethrower there at work. I'm going to give you this little tidbit. If you pop the heads off all the mannequins, and I mean all of them, and I mean in record-breaking time, there's a little something special for you.
Ooh.
Takes a well-coordinated
You're gonna have
team
to have
of people.
You definitely need a marathon, and you definitely need to know how to navigate your way around this map.
Yeah, you're gonna need a full team of professionals to make this happen, but that's part of the charm, right?
And we've got some butterflies as well.
Yeah, of course. You know, this is a fun little town.
So you were talking a moment ago about, you know, we mentioned gun customization earlier, but one of the things that we're not seeing quite yet, as we're not at that level, is the like the reticle customization, right? You can actually change it from a dot to other different patterns and sort of change the color and things, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is just the circle red dot, which is the default version. So in a little bit, when John ranks up, he'll have the ability to purchase different aiming reticles. So maybe you don't want a dot, maybe you want a circle. Maybe you want an X, maybe you want a skull, maybe you want a smiley face. There's all sorts of different ways to configure the actual reticle that you're using. But then on top of that, you can actually change the color of the dot. So, you know, it's always called the red dot, but it could be a green dot, it could be a blue dot, it could be an amber dot. There's all sorts of colors and you can pick which one. And then even on top of that, he can configure the glass color. So he's using clear glass, but you can use blue and various shades and tones of glass, which depending on the map and the brightness of the map can aid in you know, your targeting and acquisition. And you know, some of it's just purely for well, you know, just showing off.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine getting dying as a result of a headshot from a guy who's using a smiley face on his reticle is not the most rewarding feeling in the world.
It is if you're the guy who got the kill. You know, so John's just finished one of the first Perk Pro challenges there. That's what that message was, the lightweight escape death, which means he got hurt and then had to run away. So the Perk Pros are like that. If you're a lightweight user, you want to move fast. One of the things you do as a fast mover is if you get in trouble, you can dodge around a corner. In fact, this is a really great map for that kind of thing because it's small. It's a really good place to try to accommodate those things. He just got poisoned by Nova Gas right there. That's why his screen's all blurry. That is a type of a secondary grenade that got tossed up into the world. You can purchase that, of course. You can do it in the next game if you wanted to. And we're 37 seconds away from the big finale here. Yeah, that's a base challenge there, 25 kills. Very incremental, the challenges. 5 headshots and 25 kills, so he's doing pretty good. 5 headshots with the SMG. So those are all the challenge pop-ups and promoted.
Promoted, nice work.
With 2,500 CP leveling bonus right there. Yeah, this map's never been seen before. We haven't really promoted this map at all. It's a little too unique and different to really make sense for most types of game promotions or trailers that you might do. I really think that Nuketown is going to have some really large fans. I like this map a lot in private matches and with some of the private match game customization options that we have available. We like to play 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s in it with pistol shotguns only. That's a good fun experience. And it'll hold up and it'll be in the playlist rotations for sort of the normal game modes, of course. But it's Nuketown is something special for when you're trying to really just kind of bring it down to very few players, going at it in kind of a duel environment, dueling. That's where Nuketown really shines, and it's just fun. It's just different and fun.
So yeah, talk to us about the map design in general. How do you guys try to balance the smaller maps like Nuketown versus the bigger maps like Havana was a little bit bigger, but I imagine you guys have some larger ones.
Yeah,
as well.
Havana's a medium-sized map by the standards that we use, and we definitely lump maps into small, medium, and large categories. And if we have 14 maps going to be available in Call of Duty Black Ops, and most of those maps are going to be in the middle range size, what we call medium maps, medium to medium large. And those are maps that are generally designed to work in every game mode with about 12 players, right? That's kind of the target, that's the base.
Right.
So, if you have a magic spreadsheet of what you're trying to do, you want to get, let's call it 9 to 10 maps and maybe, in that range right there, that medium range. And then you want at least one pretty small map. That's Nuketown, right? This is the smallest map we have. There's another small map called Firing Range. It's bigger than Nuketown, but it's it's in that medium to small category as opposed to purely a small map like this. And then we have some very large maps on the extremes. Cracked, Array, those are very large maps. So you generally tune the game, and again, this is talk about game design in general isn't really fair to game design at all, but to keep it simple, you generally want a good healthy dose of medium-sized maps, and then you want to go to the edges, couple two, couple three, as we like to say, large maps and 1 or 2 small maps, and that's usually the great balance for this game, what the engine's capable of, what we think the fun factor is for the number of players and the game modes that we have. We played the game lots of ways with lots of different players, and it always boils down to, man, this is the right size map, this is the right number of players for that kind of awesome experience.
And what's the process that you guys take in regards to designing a map, at least visually, after locations from the story campaign compared to just ones that you totally pulled out of nowhere?
Yeah, so we got the chance to pull a lot of them in this game out of nowhere. Nuketown's totally out of nowhere.
Not in the campaign?
Yeah, but you're still, it's still a production, right? And the game goes to particular environments. So, in Call of Duty Black Ops, we were actually able to get started making maps really early on. So, we had sort of this loose idea from the campaign side of things where the story was going to take us and what the environments were. And we built maps in basic block shape, inspired by locales, hoping the art would be there one day, right? So when you're building this map up from scratch, I mean, this is a finished map. These are nothing but blocks. It's like playing in Legoland in a way. There's nothing to it. So we usually just try to go for a good, healthy balance of something totally outside the box, like this map, You know, and then a good mix of where the story is going to be inside the game. If you're going to spend some of your story in Vietnam / Laos or Cambodia, you need a couple of maps in that environment. If part of your story is going to be in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, you got to have a couple of maps there. So, you know, when we're doing the initial planning, we really just are looking for good reference and trying to come up with really fun maps, and we're not overly focused on the environment yet.
Right.
In fact, you know, Havana was a completely different location altogether, and it became Havana, Cuba in the end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Care package ready for delivery. Marked DZ.
There comes his care package, so maybe we can get a good look at the helicopter here, this big old beast of a bird that's coming in to drop his care package.
Friendly spy plane inbound.
That thing can be shot down. We've slowed it down a bit, so, you know, if it gets taken out
Bomb is
on its way in, it'll drop its care package wherever it gets destroyed. You know, there's a mixed reaction from the hardcore fans about care packages. You know, I mean, why do I get a higher level kill streak for having a lower level kill streak? And it's the subject of a lot of conversation on the design team. But ultimately, you know, kill streaks don't count towards kill streaks. So in this game, you know, you can't just intrinsically you know, rule through the kill streaks very fast. So I think you know, there's some players who will never get an 11 kill streak in their life. The odds of getting a really great kill streak out of a care package are pretty low. You know, they're tuned that way. So I don't think anybody has anything to worry about here. You know, you won't see as much. There's good competing kill streaks to take at that level. So you know, I'm pretty convinced that care packages, you know, I think they have a place in the game. I feel like they're appropriate, and you know, it's pretty satisfying when that, you know, the random number gets in your time, random number gets rolled, and your time is there.
enemy spy plane above.
I'll skip the kill cams of kill streaks. Yeah, there's a lot of different kill streaks, of course. Some of the new ones include the 2 weapons that we actually have available only from care packages, which is another good reason to have care packages, right? You don't want something like the death machine, or, you know, to be something that you could equip with, right? That would be extremely overpowered and wouldn't make a lot of sense for a Crata class weapon. But it makes perfect sense inside of a care package drop. So, you know, that weapon, along with the Grim Reaper, which is this 4-banging, you know, rocket launcher that's just insane. Those 2 things are weapons that you can only get from care packages. So you have an opportunity to give the player really super powerful weapons rarely, and that's a lot of fun all around. You know, it comes up and it can be game changing, and that keeps the game interesting, right? It doesn't boil down to the same thing. That little bit of randomness inside will make things, I think, more engaging overall and keep you fresh and thinking.
Sure, a little bit of controlled randomness in an otherwise very sort of, you know, deliberate environment.
It is really deliberate, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's designed fairly deliberately. You know, but there's the new kill streaks include, of course, everyone's favorite, the RCXD, which is the radio controlled car. There's also been some work against you know, the chopper gunner and how that works. That's very Vietnam movie influence, where you're quite literally sitting on the side of the helicopter with the gun, right, as opposed to just a gun camera.
Okay.
Right, so that's a lot of fun. There's the gunship, which is actually a pilotable helicopter, so you can actually fly it around. So, you know, there's some really new kill streaks that, you know, we think the fans are going to be pretty into. You know, there's 11 of them. There's not too many, so it's not sort of overwhelming. They've got counters, right? There's a SAM turret, which is in fact a kill streak, designed to take out air kill streaks. So, you know, there's a good, healthy balance there, and, you know, having a lot isn't really the way to win necessarily. You know, having you got to have a good number, because the customizable kill streak feature is amazingly fun. You know, but you gotta find a healthy dose of counters for them too, because you don't want them to be the dominant part of the game.
Any chance of bringing back the German Shepherds from World at War?
Yeah, the dogs are back. The German Shepherds have returned. They're an 11 kill streak, and they're just as deadly as ever.
Just as vicious.
And they have brand new behaviors too. They're a little smarter.
Oh,
can
nice.
target a little better. Here it comes. This is what happens at the end of a game in Nuketown.
The battle is lost.
Doesn't matter if things go your way or don't go your way.
It's Nuketown.
All Nuke 10s in with a nuclear flash.
And there's nothing for those mannequins to do but just look and
They're
wish they lived in a different town.
they're all dead now. Yeah, so John went on a big tear there. You can see he was playing an objective-based game mode, so it's a longer game mode, so he's unlocked a lot of weapons along